glad that we have arranged this program, and we have got reputed research persons from around the globe and scholars and students too. And due to the COVID test, which is going on in Shinamara College, Jorhat, Assam, the welcome address of Dr. Anjan Saikia, Principal, Shinamara College, Jorhat, Assam, will be given by Assistant Professor Mr. Binoy Borman, Assistant Professor of History, Saldiha College. And one thing I must say that this e-conference is being organized by Saldiha College, Department of History, in collaboration with IQAC, Shinamara College, Jorhat, Assam, India, and IQAC, Nandalal Bargohai City College, Dibrugarh, Assam, India. Now it's over to Mr. Binoy Borman, and I will request him to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, everybody. I am Binoy Borman, Assistant Professor of Department of History, Saldiha College. I welcome you all to the International Conference whose topic is Indian influence on South Asian culture and heritage. Friends, it's a great pleasure for me that Saldiha College has received assistance and cooperation of IQAC Saldiha College in collaboration with IQAC of Shinamara College, Jorhat, Assam, and Bengal, Bargohai City College, Dibrugarh, Assam.
We are not able to see the video. Please.
Yes.
Your video is off now. You just on your video.
Can you just put your video on so that looks good?
This international conference is going to be organized today and tomorrow. I heartily inform you that the research persons from different parts of the globe, such as United States of America, France, West Indies, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and a galaxy of Indian scholars are going to enlighten us. There is a good number of paper presenters, also which constitutes academicians, scholars, students of different parts of India and abroad. I expect that this is e-conference will provide us valuable information on this topic. Now I would like to request our honorable principal to say his valuable, inaugural speech.
Good morning to everybody. I am Dr. Sheikh Sirajuddin, Principal Saldiha College. Being the principal of this college, I am feeling delighted that the Department of History of our college, in collaboration with IQAC Chinnamara College, Jorhat, Assam, and IQAC Nandalal Bargo High College City College, Dibrugarh, Assam.
लेकिन मैं आपको मीटिंग चल रही है मैं इधर ही रहने देना
Hello.
Sir, yeah,
Hello?
please, on your video.
Yes, sir, we are audible. Yes, sir, you are audible. Please go on.
I'm in a bad position on the road. I'm not hearing anything. Hello.
Sir, you are audible, sir.
আমরা
Hello?
আপনাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছি
You are audible. You are
we
audible, sir.
can hear you.
Go on. Sir, please go on. You are audible. We can hear you.
I'm feeling delighted that the Department of History of our college, in collaboration with the IQC of Chinnamara College, Jorhat, Assam, IQC Nandalal Bargo High City College, Dibrugarh, Assam, organized an e-conference India on Indian influence on South Asian culture and heritage. My heart is throbbing with scintillating this that we have among us a constellation of bright stars, a panel of eminent speakers who will illuminate us all along. We have among us Dr. Abhishek Koikar from USA, Dr. Suresh Kumar from India, Dr. Ranjan Saikia from Assam, India, Professor Gamini Rana Singhe from Sri Lanka, Professor Sahnaz Husne Jahan from Bangladesh, Professor Rup Kumar Burman from India, Dr. Soilen Devnath from India, Dr. K. Mavali Rajan from India, Dr. Oliver Chiron from France, Dr. Chatrina N. Bachar from West Indies, Dr. Shankar Kumar Das from India, K. W. Chittaramala Thardang Gani from Sri Lanka, and Sanjay Prasad from India. I welcome everyone cordially for being a part of this event. I would like to thank also Sri Binoy Burman, Assistant Professor, Department of History of Saldiha College, and Umesh Chandra Murmu, Assistant Professor, Department of History of Saldiha College, Sheikh Rahul Vidya, Assistant Professor and HOD, Department of History, Srirampur Girls College, Hugli, Ranju Kumar Bharali, Coordinator, IQSC, Chinnamara College, Jorhat, Assam, and Organizing Secretary, Anjan Soikia, Principal, Chinnamara College, Jorhat, Assam, India, K. Mavali Ranjan, Department of AIHC, and A. Vishwabharati Santiniketan, Bolpur, India, Somallo Mali, HOD, Department of English, Saldiha College, Bankura, Lokhi Kanto Singh, Assistant Professor in Sanskrit, Saldiha College, Bankura, for making the necessary arrangements, the task related to the e-conference with alacrity. Due to the COVID-19 situation, we have been compelled to postpone many seminars and conferences which were scheduled to be held normally in our college. But thanks to this online platform, that we are able to arrange for seminars and conferences so easily with almost the same impact. I must thank all the conveners, organizing secretary members of the technical assistance teams, and last but not the least, the faculty of the Department of History, Saldiha College, who are dedicated to help the students with their effective and sensitive guidelines in a tireless way. This international e-conference will certainly help innumerable students in many ways. It will open up new alleys of unknown knowledge to them, which will certainly make them think about the possibilities in the field of study and research. If we want to for- forge ahead in the path of success and glory, we must know our past days and we must learn from the past. This is how we can acquire the knowledge inherited by our forefathers and how we can use it effectively to enrich ourselves in the direction towards future to avoid frustration and repeated failure. So, in a way, we can say that past knowledge can help us to go with our present to the days in future. From the perspective, if we discuss India's contribution to culture and heritage of South Asia and Southeast Asia, we will see a glorious tradition that came into being even before Christ. And even today, it goes on with almost the same pace everywhere. We can take the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata for instance. They were spread in South and Southeast Asia by the merchants and travelers, mainly through maritime trade and commerce, and then in the countries of those regions. The Indian epics started their new life. People in those countries adopted these epics and the stories from these as something very close to their hearts, and therefore they embraced the characters as they were their own people who could save them from any danger, and they believed in them as they were living next door. It clearly proves how they trusted these characters found in the great epics. They also adopted myths, values, culture, and traditions found in the epics in their own way. This is how the Indian values, culture, and tradition got disseminated in those countries. People came in contact with Indian way of thinking, where a prince preferred living in exile with wife to breaking the promise made by his father, the king of the state, where a brother leaves his luxury of the court to give company to his banished elder brother, where a wife embraces every torment to help her husband to keep the truth. Thus, we learn to keep promises, to stand by the distressed, distressed, to sacrifice the light for the truth, to sing for the glory of truth, to show respect to the elders, to fight for justice, to suffer for the greater goal, to suffer for the well-being of everyone, to be kind, honest, just, and dutiful. These are the values that we learn from Indian epics. Apart from all these, India had so many other games to offer. The Veds and Purans, the Upanishads, the Gita, and the like. These not only space our vision but also help us to live a meaningful life. full of vision, mission, peace, balance, success, honor, glory, and valor effectively. These matter a lot to use when in the age of virtual reality, biological warfare, and artificial intelligence. They show us the ultimate way to have peace, lack of which leading lack of which is leading our lives to the dream of danger every single day. From many examples, we can draw one that can show us the impact of the Indian epics on the minds of the people in Asia. Megawati Sukarno Purti was the fifth president of Indonesia and the first female president of the country. Symmetrically, Sukarno Purti means daughter of Sukarno. Sukarno was her father, who was the first president of Indonesia. Megawati means cloud goddess because in Sanskrit, Mega or Megha means cloud. Here comes the impact of the Sanskrit language, which is perhaps the oldest language of India. Then we must ponder on the name Sukarno. In Mahabharata, there was a character named Karna, who was the eldest son of Kunti, who left him right after his birth. He was often called Danbir Karna, as he was very famous for giving donations without any condition. But he joined the side of the Kauravas and fought the great battle against the Pandavas. Therefore, he was stigmatized because he joined the side of evil forces which led him to his death. Hence, Su was added to the name Korno as a prefix only to the white was that character. Sanskrit Su refers to something good. The Sukarno came as a name. Such is the impact of Sanskrit and epics. If we talk about culture, how can we exclude music? India offers classical music to the world. In India, we come across North Indian classical music and South Indian or Carnatic style of classical music. People of almost each country show interest to learn this Indian classical music. And we know the Indian Pandits, Ustads, and Maestro like Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia, Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Zakir Hussain, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan, and many others whom the entire world accepted wholeheartedly. In many countries of South Asia, we see the Indian form of music and dance getting popular day by day. The Indian classical dance forms like Bharatanatyam, Odissi, and Kathak are very popular amongst several other forms. Apart from classical forms and styles, light music, semi-classical form, and creative dance forms are very popular in this country as well. Hindi songs suit the arts of innumerable people of South Asia. In the field of visual arts too, India has offered rich culture. Artists like Raja Robi Burma, Ganesh Pine, Jamini Roy, Ram Kinkor Bej, Nandalal Bose, S.H. Raja, Mokbul Fida Hussain, and many others influenced painting and sculpture immensely with their creative field. Even in the field of marital arts, everyone knows the name Kalari Pattu, also known as Kalari, that originated in modern day Kerala in the 3rd century BCE. It is the oldest marital martial art in the world, which still exists. Here we must note that Buddhi, ha, Buddha Dharma, an Indian Buddhist monk transmitted the style of fighting to China, where the taught martial arts in the Shaolin temple to save the peaceful Buddhist monks from fierce attacks. He went to Shaolin temple in the 5th century AD. It was all about self-defense and to save helpless and innocent people from rogues. Thus, the Shaolin Kung Fu came into its present day shape. If we talk about Indian cuisines, then it will leave us licking our lips. Food is also an important part of culture. India is always famous for spicy and tasty food, which is enriched with various spices. This Indian style of preparing food also makes its way to the cultures of the South Asian countries, leaving its impact on the local culture and livelihood. We can take one example with curry dishes. Various preparations of curry are popular in many countries, but the birthplace of curry is India. We can shift our focus to physical and mental well-being, and here the contribution of Ayurveda and yoga can be discussed. These two are also the golden gifts of India to the entire world. Even today, Ayurveda is a popular medium of treatment, often sought after by people across the globe. It has no side effects as it totally relies on natural resources for treatment. Yoga has become so popular in the world that there is nothing to tell more about it. The irony is that many practitioners of yoga in the Western world do not know that originally it is the product of India. Such is the contribution of Indian culture to the world. On the other hand, if we read cultural studies and post-colonial texts, then we will come across several other issues like migration, with which come other issues like diaspora, rootlessness, identity crisis, identity formation, search for security, settlement, and happiness. In post-colonial era, people suffer from many issues. These change the course of people's life, and this can even change the way people think. We always focus on our physical health, but we scarcely focus on our mental health and mental well-being. Changes come along with our thought process. Like many other countries in South and Southeast Asia, India was also a colony under the British rule. So India knows post-colonial punks very well. Indian literary artists reflected these issues in their seminal literary creations for decades. These have become universal as people who face the same realize these to their hearts. These issues become their issues too. This is how literature becomes universal. One thing I must say that literature has its own medicinal value, and therefore it can heal our wounded minds and soothe our heart spirit. Now, on the other hand, I should mention the key role India is playing in the field of advanced space, science, rockets, technology, and defense systems, among many other fields like agriculture, heavy industry, small industries, irrigation, and logistics. Through all these, India has always spread her helping hand to all the countries of South Asia, Southeast Asia, and beyond. This friendly attitude of India also talks of her glorious past and culture that reverse breed the sense that India is ready to give, protect, help, and contribute without imposing any condition. This is the true culture of India, and this is the tradition of this country. India has always been compassionate to the other countries in the neighborhood, and so so showed affection. But India also knows how to fight and destroy evil forces which try to affect the country. It is all about self-defense, not harmful imperial, imperialistic stance. I want to conclude my speech with a line from a verse by the great Persian Sufi mystic poet Rumi. My religion is love. Every heart is my temple. It echoes the voice of India, the true spirit that illuminates everyone. I am sure that everyone will be delighted to attend this conference and will get enriched. On this happy note, I pray for a safe, peaceful, human, and progressive world replete with values and culture. May we stay safe and keep learning. Thank you all once again.
We are ended by your speech. Thank you, sir. Now, we are going to our technical session. I request you, Dr. Suresh Kumar, please, you are ready, sir? Are you ready? Dr. Suresh Kumar,
Yes, yes. Hello.
are you ready?
Yes, yes, I'm ready.
Okay. You will start.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
A very good morning to all of you.
Hey,
Hope hope you all must be fine during this COVID pandemic with your near and dear ones. Today we all are virtually meeting here, and the credit
এমন
for this
জায়গায় রয়েছে
virtual
বললে আর
interaction.
সুযোগই পাচ্ছি না।
Uh, will you please mute the audio? Hello. Hello. Yeah. Dear friends, today we all are mutually meeting here, and the credit for this mutual interaction goes to Dr. Vinay Varmanji, the convener of this webinar. So my sincere gratitude, thanks and congratulations to him and to the principal, staff members and students of Saldiha College for their efforts in arranging this academic event. Unfortunately, my friend from Assam, Dr. Anjum Sekya, could not attend the webinar. However, I can see Dr. Niharika Lal, the Vice Chancellor Madam of Navnalanda Mahavihar, and Dr. Ranjana Jain from Jabalpur. I'm happy to see my academic friend, Dr. Shehnaz Husne Jahan, from Center of Archaeological Studies, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh. I had an opportunity to meet Madam Shehnaz in February this year and had a very good interaction with her. She is a very learned scholar and humble personality. I hope that today we all will be enlightened by her with a visionary and research-oriented lecture. However, before her and other learned scholars who are present here, I would like to express my views with my limited knowledge on the topic Buddhism in propagation of Bharatiya culture in South Asian countries. Dear friends, Buddhism is one of the most important branches of Bharatiya tradition, culture and civilization which originated during 6th century BCE. Siddhartha Gautam, to whom we know as the Buddha, was the founder of this Bharatiya Shramanic tradition. Nobody knew that the religion of the Buddha that arose against few corrupt practices in Vedic tradition at that particular time one day will cross the Indian borders and show the path of humanistic values to the world. The religion of the Buddha spread peacefully across the Bharatiya subcontinent and from here to throughout Asia and abroad. Wherever it reached, it has adopted the local mentality without compromising the essential and fundamental teachings of its founder. With its core teachings and concepts like Chatari Arya Sachani means the Four Noble Truths, Madhyam Patipada means the middle path, Panchshil, the 5 precepts for lay disciples. However, for recluses, the number goes to 10. Seal means virtue, Samadhi means concentration, Panya means wisdom. Das Sikha Padani means 10 essential moral teachings exclusively for monks and nuns. Three Ratna means 3 jewels, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Three Lakhan means three characteristics, namely Anicca means impermanence, Dukh means suffering, and Anat means non-self. Nibbana means liberation. Brahmvihar, 4 infinite minds, namely Metta means loving kindness, Karuna means compassion, Mudita means empathy, and Upekha means equanimity. And Pachati Samutpad means dependent origination. Buddhism has attracted, influenced, and took into its lap a major section of the society, having its boundaries in and around whole of the Asia and even beyond. The expansion of Buddhism throughout Asia was in a peaceful manner and occurred in several ways, which involved both the missionary activities as well as the cultural exchange and mixing of other facets of Indian influence, especially in politics and trade. Along with this, Buddhism carried with it the rich cultural heritage, art, architecture, iconography, and the tradition of worshipping. Geographically, South Asia or Southern Asia is the southern region of Asian continent, which comprises Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Bharat, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Among all these countries, today we find the active and living faith of Buddhism in Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. We also find Buddhism in some parts of Bharat, especially in Maharashtra, Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh, and northeastern parts like Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Besides, we find good number of people with Buddhist faith in Bangladesh too. However, there are evidences of Buddhist archaeological sites, stupas, and idols in Pakistan and Afghanistan, but these are either destroyed by the local fundamentalist groups or are in deteriorated condition. So far, the Buddhism and its role in South Asia is concerned, it is to note here that around 12th and 13th century CE, the religion of the Buddha god disappeared from Bharat due to certain reasons. Friends, I will not discuss those reasons here as it will divert the subject and I have a limited time too by the organizers. But the religion persisted in Sri Lanka, Nepal, and some other Himalayan regions. Undoubtedly, Bharat has deep historical connections to Buddhism. Buddhism has provided a quiet but resilient foundation to Bharat's centuries-old cultural links to the countries in South, Southeast, and other parts of Asia. Bharat is the birthplace of Buddhism, and Buddhism is part of Bharatiya spiritual heritage. Bharatiya priests and scholars travel abroad and spread Buddhism widely throughout whole of the Asia. The position of Buddhism in Bharat is well known across the globe as Bharat is the land of the Buddha. To be more specific and to the point, Bharat is the Janm and Karm Bhumi of the Buddha as he took birth, attained enlightenment under Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya, delivered his first sermon at Sarnath, vis-a-vis delivered his discourses at different places during his 45 years of monastic life, and finally attained Mahaparinibbana at Kushinagar. Therefore, for the Buddhists of other countries, Bharat is like a second home. Bharat has the same reverence, values, and importance for Buddhist followers as Makkah, Medina has for Muslims and Vatican City has for Christians. Friends, if we have a look over the crossing of Buddhism, the borders of Bharat, we find that first time Emperor Ashoka organized a network of spreading Buddhism in and outside Bharat. His son Mahind and later on his daughter Sangmitta went to Sri Lanka and spread the teachings of Buddhism. Further, the transplantation of a branch of Bodhi tree under which the Buddha attained enlightenment was an epoch-making decision between the relation of both countries. This served as an inspiration to the people who had recently embraced the religion in Sri Lanka. The bringing of the Buddha's tooth relic from Bharat has strengthened the bond of cultural terms. Not only this, but during the build of stupas, the monks from Bharat were being invited for ceremonial ceremony during the reign of Dattagamani. The Bharatiya influence can also be witnessed through Ceylonese literature, which was an offshoot of Bharatiya literature, and the art of Ceylonese, architecture, sculpture, and paintings were derived from Bharat. Even the Ceylonese alphabet also came from Bharat. The Bharat's cultural impact on Sri Lanka is also evident from the Ramayana too. We find the Sri Lankan version of Ramayana, wherein King Ravan has been depicted as a ruler and great devotee of Lord Shiva. The places, or you can say spots related to Mata Sita, are also seen to be respected by the locals in Sri Lanka. Similarly, we see the socio-cultural connectivity between Bharat and Bhutan through Buddhism. And the credit of introducing the Buddhism in this land goes to renowned Buddhist saint Padmasambhav, who in Bhutan is popularly known as Guru Rinpoche and regarded as the second Buddha. Friends, in about 747 CE, Guru Padmasambhav visited Bhutan, who played a vital historical and religious role as the national patron saint in describing forms of devotion to natural energy to Bhutan. Following to Guru Padmasambhav's sojourn, Bharati influence played a temporary role until increasing Tibetan migration brought new cultural and religious contributions. Friends, in between this, Nepal occupies a unique position in the southern Asian region, which has close cultural and spiritual ties with Bharat. Modern-day Nepal, being the birthland of the Buddha, has attained real prominence as a strong supporter and propagator of the faith of Buddhism. It is to be mentioned here that in the 3rd century BCE, Ashoka is reported to have successfully quelled a rebellion among one of the races of Nepal and restored peace and order. His later visit to Lumbini and the erection of inscribed pillar to commemorate the sacred birthplace of the Buddha is a landmark in the history of Buddhism. Thereafter, his daughter Charumati is said to have married a Nepalese nobleman and built several stupas and monasteries in Nepal. According to records, Acharya Vasubandhu and Santarakshit also helped in establishing strong ties of religious and cultural friendship between these two countries. In the succeeding centuries, when Muslims invaded Bihar and Bengal, Buddhist monks took refuge in Nepal. They took with them a large number of valuable manuscripts, some of which also found their way to the monasteries in Tibet. For centuries, Nepal has served as a cultural link between the religions lying on both sides of the mid-Himalayan range, and until recently, a normal road of communication between Bharat and Tibet led through Nepal. Friends, after Buddhism has a downfall in India, the popular form of Nepalese Buddhism gradually shed some of its original characteristics, such as monastic life, opposition to caste distinction, and discouragement of all religious mysteries, thus becoming effete as a distinct spiritual force. Until recently, 4 main sects of Buddhism, each with several subsects, has been prominent in Nepal. These are Svabhik, Aishwarik, Karmic, and Yatrik. The first one emphasizes that all things in the world have their own ultimate characteristics, which is expressed in two ways, the praviti and nivritti. The Aishwarik puts its faith in a self-existent God, the one who is perfect and infinite. The third division, or you can say the third sect, believes in a conscious moral effort through which the world phenomena is developed on the fundamental basis of avidya, whereas Yatrik believes in the existence of conscious intellectual agency and free will. These sects represent almost complete fusion of various philosophical trends which originated in Bharat and Tibet under the influence of both Hinduism and Buddhism. Besides this, there are many local rituals and traditions which are commonly practiced in Nepal and Bharat. The worshipping of ancient Vedic gods and the popular deities and reading of revered texts of Bharatiya civilization like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishad, Ved, etc. are very popular in Nepal. The diversity in Nepal in terms of ethnicity again makes room for various sets of customs and traditions. Most of these customs go back to Hindu, Buddhist, and other Bharatiya originated religious traditions. The proximity of rituals and traditions and ethnicity between the people of both the countries is so strong that locally it is termed as there is a roti-beti relationship between India and Bharat. You can say between India and Nepal. Friends, I'm not going to focus on the form of Buddhism and the Bharatiya culture in Pakistan and Bangladesh, as till 1947, both these nations were the part of Bharat. How Pakistan separated from Bharat and then Bangladesh emerged out from Pakistan is well known to all of us. During the ancient time, you can say, before the invasion of Bakhtiyar Khilji, this whole region was one of the prominent place of knowledge and culture for the world. In short, we can say that the religion of the Buddha that originated and flourished in Bharat has awakened the world, especially to whole of the Asia with the Bharatiya culture. However, much water has been flown in the river, but still one can find a kind of socio-cultural and spiritual connection of these Asian countries with the Bharatiya nation. And yes, of course, Buddhism played a great role. With all this, I surrender my words before you. I once again congratulate the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and I extend my regards to them. With this, thank you all for patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh Kumar, for your valuable lecture. It is to be noted that Dr. Suresh Kumar is the Director of Indian Council of Historical Research Section. Thank you very much. Now, I request to Dr. K. Mabhalirajan. He is the Assistant Professor of Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology. Thank you, sir.
Very good morning to one and all. I am K. Mavali from Vishwabharati. First of all, I thank Vinay Barman. He is one of my best students. He invited me for delivered a invited lecture as a resource person. I immediately accepted his proposal because I am his guide, research guide. So I also express my thanks to principal of college, Dr. Saik Sirajuddin, the other co-convener or joint directors of the the seminars, Umesh Chandra Murmu, the Riyajul Midday, and other organizing committee member for the wonderful occasions on a seminar on e-conference on Indian influence on South Asian culture and heritage. Here I want to discuss my views on Chola's influence on Southeast Asian culture and heritage. We know very well about the Chola dynasty. In South India, they were the powerful dominant dynasty. They ruled from the middle of 9th century up to 13th century. They extended their political power in entire South India. The Cholas were famous for many aspects. The Cholas were famous for administration. In India, the Chola introduced the first time very prominent, very extraordinary, the local self-government introduced in the rural level about the village administrative system. The Cholas also famous for the religious expansion. We can find the religious expansion of the Cholas even in Southeast Asia, even in China, even in Sri Lanka. We find the Chola influence, both cultural and commercial influence in all the Asian, the Western and Southeast Asian countries. Politically, the Cholas were the powerful. They had a huge army, very powerful navy power they had. With the help of the navy power, they extended their political supremacy up to the Ganga rivers, even they crossed the Ganga rivers. They defeated the Palas, even they defeated the Sri Lankan rulers, even they went up to Southeast Asia, there's Cambodia, Thailand, Siam, the Indonesia. They defeated their political power, they extended their political the power in those countries. As the cultural and heritage influence in concern of the Chola influence in the Southeast Asian country, in the cultural aspect, the Cholas occupies an important place in the history of South India. They had turbulent political history. It has not been conquered by an external power over very long period. They established their political atmosphere in the other, either northern India also, even in the Southeast Asia, they established their political power. The Chola rulers had made several expeditions to different parts of the northern India as well as the various foreign countries, especially to the South and Southeast Asian countries. These expeditions resulted in the expansion of the Chola Empire and the gradual increase of the Chola foreign trade in very close link between the Cholas and the other Southeast Asian countries. There are large number of the epigraphs. The inscription have been discovered. They have been identified in the different Southeast Asian countries. The epigraphies, they identify the inscription, Tamil Brahmi inscription in Sri Lanka, even Sumatra, even Indonesia, Philippines, in Thailand. The lot of the inscription, the South Indian, especially Tamil Brahmi inscriptions, which belongs to the Chola period, have been identified. Most of these, they speaks about the trade relation between the Cholas and the Southeast Asian countries. The epigraphic records of the Cholas illustrate that the Chola had the close cultural and friendly relation with the Southeast Asian countries like Java, Sumatra, Indonesia, Cambodia, China, Burma, Malaya, Sri Lanka, and other the countries. The South Indian historian K. Neelakanta Sastri extensively worked on based on mostly the archaeological and epigraphical sources. He studied comprehensive history of the Cholas, where he has mentioned about the details of the relations between the Cholas and the Southeast Asian countries. Even the Herman Gulke, some with others editors, he has edited the book on the Nagapattinam to Swarnadipa. It is a kind of the naval expedition of the Cholas to the Southeast Asian country. The book detailedly gives about the how the naval powers of the Rajaraja and Rajendra, how they defeated some of the Southeast Asian countries, the kingdom, how they established the political power as well as their trade relation with the Southeast Asian country. Apart from the Neelakanta Sastri work, the Mira Abraham stated that the aggressive policy of the Cholas and the commercial extension followed by the medieval, mainly the Rajaraja and Rajendra, K. Neelakanta Sastri further says that the Chola rulers, especially Rajaraja and Rajendra, were sent a trade mission to China to revive the trade links which had been interrupted due to the internal political problem in China. The Rajaraja, up to Rajaraja, they had the very close the commercial relation with the Cholas. There was a internal dispute in the China. That time it was temporarily interrupted, but Rajendra renewed the relationship of the commercial relationship between the Cholas and the Chinas. Among the Southeast Asian regions, the Srivijaya was the first among the places taken by the Rajendra from the king of the Kadaram. The Rajendra had the title of Kadaram Kondan. After defeating the Kadaram of the Southeast Asian country, he assumed the title of Kadaram Kondan, is the name of the kingdom of the Belambong of the Sumatra. It is the one of the important aspect we'll find. Rajendra defeated the Kadaram, now the Malaya, even the Srivijaya, now it's in Indonesia. Both the places were ruled by the same king during the reign of the Rajaraja and conquered by Rajendra from Sangrama Vijaya Tungavarman. The epigraph of Rajendra narrate the invasion of the Kadaram and Srivijaya. It gives information on the affairs of the kingdom at the beginning of the 11th century CE. So Rajendra inscription give detailed account about his Kadaram expedition, how Rajendra defeated the Kadaram, how he annexed the some of the part of the Kadaram become the part and part of the Chola Empire. The Srivijaya Empire was the first Indonesian kingdom originated in Bolambang on the island of the Sumatra. It had the maritime and commercial relation with the Chola Empire from the 7th century onwards. The powers of the kingdom was based on its control of the international sea trade, and it established trade relation not only with the states of the Malay archipelago but also with the India and China. The Indonesia had very good relation with the Malay Peninsula as well as the India and China. Srivijaya also it's a part of the religious center. It adorned the Mahayana form of Buddhism we'll find in Indonesia. The kings of Srivijaya even founded the monastery at Nagapattinam. Even if you visit Nagapattinam today, there we'll find a Buddhist monastery in the name of Sudamani Varma Vihara. Sudamani Varma Vihara. It is constructed by the Sri Vijaya, the king, Sri Mara Vijayatunga Varman. So, in the promotion of that Buddhist monastery, Rajaraja and Rajendra, they given a village, the Manimangalam, for the promotion, for the maintenance of the Sudamani Varma Vihara. There is two separate building we'll find. One is Rajaraja Perumballi, Rajendra Perumballi. Rajaraja Mahavihara, Rajendra Mahavihara. Still we find in the Nagapattinam, which constructed by the Srivijaya kingdom in the Nagapattinam. The Nagapattinam, which was the very old port center of the Cholas, which we find in the east coast of the India. So early trade relations were established between South India and Indonesia. The Sumatra was then named Swarnadvipa, Island of the Gold. Java was called Javadivita, is a rice island. A Hindu kingdom of Srivijaya in Sumatra and Chola in South India were not only confined to religious and cultural exchange, they had also very friendly relation for they exchange their ideas, intellectual idea with the both the countries. They later developed diplomatic relations and even covered a wide range of trade activities. The relation between the Srivijaya kingdom and the Chola of South India was friendly during the Rajaraja, but during the reign of Rajendra, the Chola Empire attacked Srivijaya cities. A series of Chola raids in the 11th century AD weakened the Srivijaya hegemony and enabled the formation of the regional kingdom based, like Kathri, an intensive agriculture rather than the coastal long distance trade. The Cholas are known to have benefited from the foreign trade. The Chola seafaring led to the outright plunder and conquest as far as Southeast Asia is concerned. An inscription of Rajendra states that he had captured the king of Kadaram and plundered a large amount of treasure, including the Vidyadhara Torana, which was the jewels of that is called Wargate of the Srivijaya, adorned with the great splendor. He defeated that Wargate, he captured the Wargate Rajendra. The Imperial Chola continued a series of attacks and conquests on part of Sumatra and Malay Peninsula for the next 20 years. After Rajendra, first it's continued up to the Klotunga Chola. Up to the Klotunga Chola, the Chola influence extended in the Srivijaya and Sumatra kingdom. The expedition of Rajendra had such a lasting impression on Malay people of the period that his name is even mentioned in the medieval, the Malay Chronicle, the Malay Annals. The Chola rulers is remembered still now in Malaysia, as many Malaysian the princes have names ending with Cholan or Chulan. Even now, some of the Malayan princes, they have the title, they assume the title in the name of Cholan or Chulan. That is the way it is. Still, we can find the influence of the Cholas, maybe the cultural influence. Even if you visit the Indonesia, there will find the South Indian influence in their cultural life, even in the structural, the building also. This event marked the important change in the empire and sharp turn for the control of the trade route. On the other hand, there are Tamil trading company. They extended their service to a different Southeast Asian country. Even O. Subrail in his book, The Cholas, the South India under the Cholas, he has mentioned about the inscription at Porus. It is in Sumatra. There it speaks about some important the guild organization that is called the Ainutruva. It also talk about even the Sri Lankan Kalyani inscription, which discovered by the Indian, discovered by the epigraphist. It says about the Nana Desi, the Ainutruva, they were the very powerful, the South Indian guilds. They supported the patronage for the Buddhist centers in Sri Lanka, in the other places of that. In that way, it is the one of the important the cultural influence we find in the Chola influence in the Southeast Asian culture and heritage. Rajendra Chola's overseas expedition against Srivijaya was a unique event in Indian history and its peaceful relation with the states of the Southeast Asia. The reason for the naval expeditions are uncertain. Even Nilakanta Sastri also, he didn't mention about the reason for the Kadaram expedition of the Rajendra. But some of the historian assumes that maybe the gold, the availability of gold in the Southeast Asian countries, it attracted the South Indian rulers to extend the political hegemony in their territories. However, the Nilakanta Sastri says that attack were probably caused by Srivijaya attempt to throw obstacle in the way of the Chola trade. Even one side it is saying that the cold attracted the South Indian traders. Another one, there are some disturbance from the Srivijaya kingdom to the Chola trade with the east, more probably a simple desire on the part of Rajendra to extend his military victories to the countries that were well known as to or lusted to his ground. That is, Rajendra's is a personal wish to conquer the many countries beyond the territories, the overseas territories. Among the Southeast Asian countries, the Indonesia was much influenced by Indian culture. From the 2nd century onwards, through the Indian dynasties like the Pallava, Gupta, Pala, and Chola, in the succeeding century up to the 12th century AD, India they had cultural relation or the commercial relation with the Southeast Asian country. Indian culture spread across all the Southeast Asia. The earliest inscription from the islands attesting the establishment of the Hindu culture belongs to the end of the 4th century AD. References to the Tripatra, Yavadipta, a Hindu kingdom in Java and Sumatra appear in inscriptional evidences of their country. According to the ancient Tamil Buddhist text, Manimehalai, Java had a kingdom with a capital called Nagapura. It's a Nagapura, it is a purely Indian term. Even the Tamil term for it's a kind of, even Nagapattinam, Nagapura, more or less the similar word. That is maybe the kind of influence from the Nagapattinam. The earliest archaeological relic discovered in Indonesia is from the Ujung Kulon National Park of the West Java, where an early Hindu statue of Ganesha belonging to the 1st century BC was found on the summit of Mount Raksha in Panaythan Island. There is also archaeological evidence of the Hindu kingdom in West Java dating from the 2nd century CE, and Shiva temple in Puduchia, Karawang, and West Java was probably built around this time during the 2nd century CE. South Indian culture was spread to Southeast Asia by the Pallava dynasty in the 4th century and 5th century CE. It's also continued. It continues during the Chola period also. The Chola also extended their relations of the both commercial and cultural relation with the Southeast Asian countries. So epigraphs found many Tamil inscription in different parts of the Southeast Asian countries. As I told you, in Sri Lanka, the Kalyani inscription, in Barus inscriptions, which we find even apart from there are many Tamil Brahmi inscription we find in different parts of the Southeast Asian country. It is a kind of, it shows that the influence of the South Indian rulers, maybe the Indian rulers in the culture and heritage of the other Southeast Asian country. Most important among them was found at Lobo Dua Borus in Sumatra, which was noticed in Madras epigraphical report of the 1891-92. Besides the Barus inscription, there are several Tamil inscriptions found in Southeast Asian countries such as China, Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka. Most of these inscriptions put together would show there had been lovely trade connection between the islands of Southeast Asia and South India during the Chola and Vijayanagar period. A major attraction of the trade seems to have been the cold resources of these regions, beside camphor and aromatic products. Even the South India, if you look at the early period, it is famous for the spice articles. From the Kerala, from the west coast, even the many of the commodities from the east coast also they exported to the China, they exported to the Southeast Asia, even the West Arabia, even the Greek. It's mentioned in the Yavanas, in the early Tamil inscriptions. Even if you look at the early Tamil text, the Sangam text, the Pattinapala, it's very one of the classics of the Sangam text. There is one song very beautifully narrated about the commercial goods and the commercial activity of the port center Kaveri Pattinam. The Kaveri Pattinam was variously known as the Pugar, Kaveri Pugumbattinam, the Kaveri Pattinam, Pumbuhar. These the Kaveri Pattinam attracted the traders from the different Southeast Asian countries. That Pattinapalai songs beautifully narrate the commodities from the different regions, from the north, from the south, from the even the foreign countries also, how the commodities reached to the Kaveri Pumbattinam. From there, how the traders they distributed the commodity to the inland market center, urban center, even the overseas, the commercial centers. On the basis of that, even some of the commodities they brought to through the river, they brought to the way roadways. It is mentioned. If you read the some of the Chola inscription, it is there is when Peruvali, Raja Raja Peruvali. It is a kind of the highways. Even during the Chola period, they constructed the highways that is in the name of the Peruvali, the big ways. The Rajaraja Peruvali we find in the Kunga regions. It carries the heavy commodities on the roadways. So in that way, the inscriptions of the different places we find in Southeast Asia in Chola, it record the presence of the merchant organization in several Southeast Asian trade center. For instance, an inscription found at Takuapa, Thailand, refers to the trade guild MoneyGram. The MoneyGram were very popular. The South Indian Trade Guild, mostly they involve in the internal trade activities. Sometimes they also involve in the external trade activities. That Thailand inscriptions, it's about refer about the trade guilds, the MoneyGram. An inscription from the Sumatra belongs to 11th century CE, which talk about the Ayirati Ainutwa. It's a 500 of the south thousand direction. The traders they travel the different directions. The members of the trade guilds, which consist of the 500 members. That is why it is called the Ainutwa. The Ainutwa money, the members of the 500. An inscription from Sumatra, it also speaks about the Nana Desi. The Nana Desi money, those who travel in different directions. So, for the trade purpose, the Nana Desi Guild, they carried their commercial commodities to the different countries, even including the Southeast Asian countries. Even Nana Desi, they call Nana Desi Vinnahar Alwan. These scattered inscriptional evidences provide us information on the varied activities of the guilds and trade links between the merchants, temples, trade, and urbanization, both within and the outside of the Coromandel coast. So, on the basis of the inscriptional evidences, some of the writing by K. Nilakanta Sastri, Mira Abraham, Herman Kulke, even D. Dayalan. On the basis of their writing, we can understand that in South India, from the South Indian dynasty, the Cholas, they had very good relations with the Southeast Asian country. Even now also, we can find the influence of the Indian culture in the culture of in the cultural heritage of the Southeast Asian countries, especially Indonesia, Malaysia, Burma, even Thailand, and other the islands. We can find the Indian influence, especially the Chola influence in their the culture and heritage. With these few words, I'll stop my the lecture. Thank you very much once again to the organizing committee, especially Binay Varman and other his team members. It's a very good team. It's organizing the international e-conference. Once again, I wish for the success of the 2 days academic exercise in the successful manner. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, I request to Professor Dr. Shahnaz Husni Jahan, Professor of Archaeology, Head, General Education Department, JED, Director, Center for Archaeological Studies, CAS, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, ULAB. Thank you, ma'am. You will start your lecture.
Ma'am, are you audible?
Madam, thank you.
Dr. Husni Jahan, madam. Hello, madam. We are not getting your words.
Madam, are you audible?
Madam, we are not getting your words. Are we audible? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, now you're audible. Please go on.
Now you can hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so so it was really a wonderful day. From the morning, I'm here, and I could not just leave a single second. So I really enjoyed the talk, Dr. Anjun Saithia, of course, Binay Barman always there, and Dr. Sheikh Shirajuddin, who has taken a wider area on literature, music, and Dr. Suresh Kumar on Buddhism, South Asia. It is really wonderful speech. And Dr. Mawali Rajan, which is my topic. In fact, I love to study maritime connection, and which he has very nicely presented. Now, when he was talking about Chola invasion, he was talking all Palas and Southeast Asia, Indonesia to Cambodia. And I was just wondering, I was so surprised when I read this, that Cholas were invading northward, and they have even renamed the Bay of Bengal as a Chola Lake. So it was known as the Chola Lake, which is very surprising, really. Thank you very much, all of you, all the speakers. I really enjoyed your talk. And good afternoon to everyone. I think this is a really wonderful opportunity. Let me express my sincere thanks to the Department of History and Quality Assurance Cells of Saldiha College, Bankura, West Bengal, India, to provide me an opportunity to share my understanding with you. And a special thanks to Binay Barman and his organizing team. It is a wonderful initiative to organize an international conference on this very important topic. When we have the Indian influence on South Asian culture and heritage, I'm delighted to be here in this auspicious occasion. As we all know, that South Asian culture and heritage is greatly influenced by Indian culture and heritage. Let me also share my screen because I would like to show you some of my slides. So let me just share my screen with you so that you will all will enjoy more the speech than seeing it. Just let me know if you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes,
Can
yes,
you
yes,
see
ma'am.
my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, as an archaeologist taught in India and practicing in Bangladesh, I myself carry Indian influence on my own culture and heritage. I have chosen today to share my recent research with you, Bhitorgarh Archaeological Site, which is a shared cultural heritage of India and Bangladesh, especially Assam, Kuch Bihar, West Bengal, and Bangladesh in many aspects. Bhitorgarh is an archaeological site, is the largest fortified settlement in Bangladesh, extending over an area of about 25 square kilometers. Interestingly, the site is actually transnational, as it is located in Panchgod district, Bangladesh, and portions of its outer enclosures on the north, east, and west lie in Jalpaiguri district, West Bengal, India. Although Bhitorgarh has been circulating in literature since Francis Buchanan visited it in the beginning of the 19th century, first systematic archaeological investigation at the site is being carried out by me since 2008. My archaeological investigation has revealed that Bhitorgarh is enclosed within 4 concentric quadrangles, and all quadrangles are surrounded by moat. If we want to understand the history of Bhitorgarh, we have to look back to ancient Pragjotishpur, Kamrupa, Kuch Bihar, and also Jalpaiguri, West Bengal area, and the ancient part of Pundravartana. Now, if you look at this map, you see that you all know Bangladesh where is located. It is, 3 sides surrounded by Indian states, and we have a little tiny border with Myanmar. Now, Bangladesh's northernmost administrative district, which is Panchgad. So this is Panchgad area map, and you can see Bhitorgarh. This is Bhitorgarh. And now this Bhitorgarh, you can see the yellow line, which is a border line between India and Bangladesh, and the border here with Jalpaiguri district. In fact, this is area in Jalpaiguri district. This is Panchgad, Bangladesh, and that is India. So now this is Bhitorgarh. This area is a site map of Bhitorgarh. Now you see Bhitorgarh site in detail. As I have already said, that Bhitorgarh is enclosed with 4 concentric quadrangles. Means I say this is the first enclosure, second enclosure, third enclosure, and fourth enclosure. All the enclosures built by ramparts, and we also have a fifth enclosure, which we have found in southern parts of Bhitargarh and also little part in the eastern side. So these, all the ramparts making this enclosure, and all the enclosing areas were again surrounded by moats. So all the ramparts here, you can see every ramparts having outside moat, surrounded by outside moat. Now you can see, look at the river coming. This is called Talma River. It's a tributary of Karatoa River. And this Talma River is really getting into the site and flowing within the site. But now this river is known as Shalmara River, and the Talma, they have diverted this course in this area, diverted this course through a dam here, and also through a dam here, and also there are 2 dams in this area. One is here and one is here. I'll show you the photographs very fast so that you can see actually how the site is looking. And also we have 10 ancient ponds which is serving the site. We do have irrigation canals here, and irrigation canals, and which is taking the water from the river and serving to the eastern side of the city. This area, now I will show you the photographs of the site so you can look at exactly how the site is looking now, and then we will again discuss few things. So now let's see, this is the outer enclosure. As I said, the 5th enclosure, south side, and this is a rampart and also a moat, and it is locally known as Shariamgarh. We have Shal forest within the site, within the 4th and 5th enclosure. We do have, this is western rampart and moat of the 4th enclosure. This is the 3rd enclosure, rampart and moat. And this moat is now in India. So the borderline is the rampart. And this is now silted. You can see the moat is silted. This is a northern rampart of the 3rd enclosure, and you can see this is the moat, and this is the borderline of India and Bangladesh. This is Jalpaiguri, this is Bangladesh, and the moat is the borderline here. So Talma River, you can see Talma River is getting in, and this is the bridge you can see here. This is Jalpaiguri, and the river coming into Bangladesh in Bhitargarh. This is Shalmara River, and you see that this is Talma River, and from here it goes within the site, inside the site it enters here, and it was in fact the earlier channel. This is the earliest channel, and later on the course was diverted by making a dam here, a stone dam. And I'll show you the other dams. Like I said, there are other 2 dams. One is Damoni and one is Pathorghata. Now, the Damoni, Pathorghata, and Birband, all the dams were built by stone blocks. And now these stone pieces are not local. These are also coming from India, but the dressing of the stones, making hole of the stones, and the interlocking to construct the dam, all these works were carrying out by nearby area here, and we have located that area as well. So these dams were also indicating, and as I showed you earlier, the irrigation canals, indicating that Bhitargarh ancient people having a quite ingenious structural feat for their irrigation, cultivation throughout the year, and this is really interesting. Now you can see the moat, and as I said that all the ramparts were surrounded by moat. So this is 2nd enclosure moat of the 2nd enclosure, other side of the moat. This is also 2nd enclosure, western side, the moat, and the ramparts are built by bricks. By builds, the first enclosure and second enclosure entirely made of brick, and the third enclosure and fourth enclosure is a mud wall, but strategic location they have also used brick. So this is a brick wall, and you can see that how finish and how fine, see the basement of this and foundation level. So I went down here. You can see some other portion of the western rampart of the second enclosure. This is the northern rampart of the second enclosure, eastern rampart of the second enclosure, western rampart of the second enclosure. And here you have a bastion. You can see this is a bastion, but this is destroyed by the local communities, as the local communities are carrying out cultivation here. So it has been destroyed, but we have found this kind of bastion in a regular interval to support the long wall, because the walls are very long. It's a 25 square kilometer area. One wall is like 6 kilometer, 3.5 kilometer running. So of course they need a kind of a bastion to support this wall. This is a pleasant lake, pleasant tank, and as I told you, we have found 10 ancient ponds within the Vittorgarh city, ancient city, and here this is the largest tank known as Maharajar Dighi. It has a 53 acres of land, 10 ancient ghat with brick paved ghat, and also the brick built casing in the embankments, and there's lofty embankments, and you can see these embankments. These banks of the tank, if you stand here, you can see Kanchenjunga, which is clearly if the sky is clear. This is another tank, Fulpukuri, another ancient tank, Kodaldhoa Dighi, another Molani Dighi. There are other ancient tanks like Singari Dighi, Bakpukuri, Jhaljhali, etc. So these all ancient ponds were really wonderful natural landscape, creating that and cultural heritage of the site. Now, this is an innermost enclosure, which I showed the first enclosure within the site. So this innermost enclosure, we have taken a small part excavated, and we found again the bastion in a regular interval. So they have used bastion also in the first enclosure to support the wall. This is a mount almost in the center of the city, and this is locally known as Maharajar Kachari Ghar, and it's now used as a private graveyard. So somehow we could manage to convince the local communities, and we excavated and found the foundation of a temple. And I can show you some of the parts of the temple. You can see some parts of the excavated area of the temple. So this is a kind of a proto-crucified temple we found here. Then we have an area called Maharajar Bari, because it's a huge area, structural mound, but now it is a betel nut garden and few homesteads standing. You can see behind, and this area, when we excavated, we found a huge structure with a pillared hall in east and west side, and this is really a wonderful site. And also we have see that the corner pillar having hole, because these are keeping the post hole, wooden post for supporting the superstructure. As I said, that the homes are still on the site, so the houses, the village houses, we could convince them, and we excavated some parts of their courtyard and found the ancient eastern side pillared hall here. You can see this is really wonderful site and huge. You can see this. Yeah, this is another same structure outside. This is in the first temple I showed you. North of that temple, we had structural remains, and this is probably a residential complex. And here we have also gone down, and we saw another layer of the cultural on another cultural layer. And yes, within the second enclosure, we found quite a few temples. So this is one of the temples. And here, interesting thing is, you can see the pebble, stone pebble is used as a construction material. And you can see the stone pebble is used here also within the same another temple within the second enclosure while excavating. So this is another within the second enclosure, and this is very close to Yamaduar, as this is known as this, and maybe related to that part. And also we have third enclosure. We have some structural mound which are destroyed today. This is another temple, beautiful temple foundation in the third enclosure to the west side. We found few sculptural remains, fragments of sculpture, and yes, these are the fragments, and yeah, some plaques, stone plaques. You can see the clamp, iron clamp groove here. Terracotta ring wells, quite a few terracotta ring wells we found it in the site. And yeah, these are the pottery we found here, grayware, redware. We had decorative pottery, we had incised decoration as well as stem decoration. We have metal artifacts like iron, copper, gold, and yes, so this site is really interesting, and the archaeological findings I showed you here now very much agrees with the Arthashastra's recommendation for construction of ramparts, moats, internal layout, gates, streets, and allocation of different communities for different purposes. Bithargarh was functioning between 6th and 12th century, as the findings are telling us. It had a well-planned internal layout and a number of public architecture. The inhabitants developed quite an ingenious structural feat for irrigation and cultivation throughout the year, as I told you already. The importance of Bithargarh primarily lay in trade, because of its strategic position on the ancient overland and riverine trade route connecting Tibet, Sikkim, Nepal, Bhutan, Assam, Kuch Bihar, and the regions of the middle and lower Ganga valleys. Two rivers, Karatua and the Tista, played a very important role to serve the site and to facilitate the trade. And now I'll show you that how I make the all types of communities involved within the site. So like university students, undergraduate students at ULAB, where I have a specially designed course called Experiencing the Past. So the students of the Experiencing the Past comes and join the our excavation and to learn about their culture, shared cultural heritage, which we have India and Bangladesh. And also we have trained the local landowners. We train local landowners because when we are not there, they are there, and if they suddenly find any ancient materials, they should know how to get it, how to preserve it, how to clean it and all these things. So we thought it is a good idea to train them, and they should excavate their own land with us and find their own heritage. So it was a different kind of experience I had with them, with the local landowners. I also had given the training to the students, local school students of the site, and different age groups. So they work with us, and they also learn how the heritage and how to handle with it. So very interesting here also. Each and every season when we go to the site for excavation, we have a public lecture, forum, discussion, seminar, etc., to share our findings for each session, what was our objectives, what we have found here, that we shared with them, and the local school teachers, journalists, local residents, everybody, they shared their memories, they share, discuss, if they have a questions, they ask, and we have a wonderful, sharing heritage during these kinds of seminar. We also had organized lots of, time to time, some training programs, some workshop to the local peoples. And here you can see the local van drivers were trained as a guide, and then they were taught like how, where, that which kind of heritage are here at Bhitorgarh. We also have introduced Bhitorgarh Festival, which I am now organizing every year at Bhitorgarh. And beside the archaeological heritage, we are also presenting here like intangible cultural heritage, like stick dance, indigenous games, indigenous performances, photo exhibition, and also some educational competition program like art competition, debate competition on cultural preservation issues, and cultural program competition for the school children. So this is also we have introduced at the site, and now the villagers are organizing it regular basis. So on these festivals also, there are lots of foods vendors. They are making earning money selling them, and also lots of arts and crafts. They in and around the area, they come sell them and earn the money. So these festivals also giving some kind of economic solvency to the local inhabitants. So this is how we are working at Bhitorgarh. And Bhitorgarh is, as I already told, this is a shared heritage, and we have to preserve the site. And the site is now living, like 30,000 people living on the site. So it is not a deserted site; it's a living site, and continuously for last 1,500 years. Yes, thank you very much for your patience hearing. And I request, save Bhitorgarh, save our shared heritage. And so this is what I wanted to share with you today. And as this conference is really very important one, and we thought this maybe will help you, that how we within our, like in South Asia, how our Indian cultural heritage, and we all having shared cultural heritage each and every phases. So we cannot separate Indian heritage with the others, our local. I'm enjoying the session.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you. This is our first technical session. Three invited speakers, Dr. Suresh Kumar, Dr. K. Mabali Rajan, Professor Shahnaz Husni Jahan. They have delivered outstanding lectures. Thank you very much. Thank you.
With this, our first technical session comes to an end, and our second technical session will be started at 2:30 p.m. Please stay with us. Thank you. Now we are going to take a short break, and we will come back once again at 2:30 p.m. with our second technical session. Thank you. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Please go on.
Should we join at 2:30 with the same Google Meet link?
Yeah. You can join with the same Google.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay.